Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again, and in today's video I am going to be doing another top 5 for Doctor Who Series 13, and this time it would be my top 5 monsters that I want to see return to the show in the upcoming season, just because we haven't seen these ones in a very long time, and I thought it would be cool to speculate on who I would like to see return to the show. So without further ado, let's discuss who should return. So for the first one, I would like to see the return of the Valyard, who is essentially an evil incarnation of the Doctor, who apparently originated between the 12th and 13th incarnations of the Doctor, but obviously between Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker that wasn't the case, and also with the whole retconning of the Doctor's numbers, that would have to be between David Tennant's and Matt Smith's incarnation. So we actually haven't seen the Valyard yet. The closest we got was the Time Lord Victorious and the Meta-Crisis Doctor in David Tennant's era. And we actually haven't seen any development from that, really. So there's been no Valyard return from the classic series at all. But I feel like with the show going in a darker direction with the Timeless Child storyline and with a lot of revelations coming out about Gallifrey's past, it would be the perfect opportunity to see the Valyard return, and I would be absolutely amazed if Chris Chibnall pulled that off in the next series. And speaking of Gallifrey, the second villain I would like to see return in Series 13 would be the Ronnie, and I am a huge fan of this character, and oh my, I'm surprised the Ronnie hasn't returned already. We've had the Master appear several times in the modern run of the show, starting from Series 3, and I was like, okay, the Time War, it might have wiped out all the Time Lords apart from the Doctor and the Master, but then obviously the Time War was retconned and yada yada, and we know that there are other Time Lords out there. So what happened to the Ronnie? Did the Ronnie die in the Time War? What happened? And now I do know there are some Big Finish stories that had the Ronnie regenerate from the original incarnation when she was introduced in the TV show. But apart from that, we haven't really seen or heard anything about the Ronnie's whereabouts. And I would love to see her return and face against the 13th Doctor. And then I would like to talk about the third monster I would like to see return in Series 13. And I honestly thought they were returning in Series 12, and I would like to see the return of the Sea Devils. And the reason why I was disappointed with them not returning in Series 12 was because there was a lot of hype and speculation that they were going to be back for the 6th episode in the latest series, Proxus, where there was plastic in the ocean and it was basically polluting the planet and there's a whole virus. And I honestly thought that moment when the TARDIS gang realised that they're on a base underwater, not on another planet, I thought we were going to see some Sea Devils appear, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and yeah, I kind of feel a little bit let down about that, and I honestly thought that would be the best opportunity for them to return. But for the Sea Devils, obviously their relatives, the Silurians, have returned in the modern series, and I feel like the Sea Devils would work perfectly as well. And just imagine that we have another episode where there's pollution in the water, but it's not just your traditional plastic, it's the Nestine consciousness, and we could have a two-parter where potentially the Nestine consciousness, aka the Autons, are battling it out with the Sea Devils. That would be pretty cool. Now obviously that's a really bare bones description of my ideal Doctor Who story, but it could work, and obviously it would have a deeper message about plastic in the ocean that could be emphasised with, living plastic and everything like that. But it would be pretty cool to see happen, and you never know, it could happen very soon, hopefully. Now, the fourth villain I would like to see return in the next series of Doctor Who would be Omega. Oh my, I would love to see him return. We haven't seen him since the 5th Doctor's episode that was Arc of Infinity. That was a very long time ago in the classic run, and Omega hasn't really been referenced much at all in the modern series. He did have a unlisted cameo in the Timeless Children alongside Rassilon that was huge, by the way. I don't know why they left that unspecified. Chris Chibnall is obviously a fan of Time Lord mythology, so come on, Omega, it just makes sense. And obviously with a lot of Gallifrey's past and the true origins of the Time Lords being revealed now, it would make a lot of sense to have him and Rassilon return, and perhaps they could be the ones this time put on trial for essentially kidnapping a child and torturing the child until they got the powers to regenerate. Because whilst Tecteun was the one who started that, we could potentially learn in the next series that Omega and Rassilon had a big involvement with the division, and yeah, it's the perfect opportunity. And let's not forget, the Master did say something about the founding fathers of Gallifrey in Spyfall Part 2, so they've got something to do with it, I think. So for the fifth and final villain I would like to see return in Series 13 would be Davoros, because it's pretty much a tradition of sorts. It's not always guaranteed, but the Doctor does meet Davoros at some point, and it's always one of the strongest scenes in any Doctor's era, with them interacting with Davoros, because they are pretty much arch enemies, and the only, I wouldn't say relationship, but the only dynamic that would rival the Doctor and the Masters, in my opinion. And with Davoros, he has a very twisted view of the world, and he is obviously the curator of the Daleks. And we have seen the Daleks crop up twice in Jodie Whittaker's era so far. The second time is going to be in the upcoming episode Revolution of the Daleks. I personally don't think we'll see Davoros in that series, just because with Modern Who, Davoros traditionally appears in two-parter episodes. That, to me, does make a lot of sense, and I hope Series 13, perhaps in the finale, Davoros gets the little spotlight and we get to see him interact with the 13th Doctor. But hopefully that happens, as I feel like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor does need that push to, meet Davoros, and hopefully we get to see a new side of her Doctor that we haven't seen yet, and it could be a darker side indeed. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, rating, and subscribe, and I'll see you all on my next video. Goodbye for now.